Hey, this is Pops. Welcome to What's Your Story, an interview conversation podcast that I use to explore interesting words of wisdom, life lessons from our guests as we have a casual conversation talking about different things that are going on in their lives and that they can share with us from their career or life experiences. So, hope you enjoy the show. Well, folks, welcome back. What's Your Story 2026? Took some time off from doing these, but feel like this is a lot of people's requests, things on the channel that we kind of, I guess, got together and did regularly, and people are wanting to get this back. I have two amazing guests to kick it off with. That's right. Troy from Last Call, my longtime friend and supporter over here, and then Stone Cold Loki, my Talk Hard co-host and a friend in the wild as well. It's just great to do this. We want to discuss today about being a full-time YouTuber, going full-time, how this kind of operates and works, that kind of thing. So I thought I wanted to bring in two people who've gone down that journey at least a little bit. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Troy, it's been great to see your journey over the last few years, and it'd be fun to talk to you about it today.
Yeah, it's been challenging, but it's been a lot of fun. And one of the things I like to say is I feel like my community helps me put the social in social media. So it's not like I'm neglecting my my social duties and obligations because of my work, because the two are one and the same.
That's true. That's true. And Loki, my friend, we have long talked about your journey over the last several years, and it's been a lot of ups and downs. It'd be kind of fun to kind of go through that a little bit as well.
Oh yeah, I'm retired. Remember that? I'm retired. I'm not full-time. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I do not want to make a living on YouTube. I just want to have fun. I mean, what Troy's talking about is absolutely right. You want to have fun. You want to be social. You want to have a good chat. You want to have a good group of people around you. And that's all I really care about anymore. There's a lot of, people that are like, oh, I need that money. Give me the money. And you just got to, you know what? You guys can do your money thing. I do this because I enjoy it. I do this for fun. Hopefully it shows. It shows in the work that I do. It shows in the new channel, the new Transformer channel. And that I just want to have a good time. To me, that's what all this is about now, is just having a good time.
Let me dive into that a little bit, because you were doing the full-time morning show. You had 3 to 4 other shows during the week. You were doing co-hosting or guesting on shows like mine. So we were discussing you were doing easily roughly 10 shows or more a week for years and years and years. How was that managed? How were you able to sort of operate that day in and day out for folks?
You pretty much agree to everything. If someone wants you on and you're available, you do it. If someone wants you to guest, you do it. When me and you met, you were talking about Halo, and you were like, well, I don't really know a lot about Halo, and I don't really know a lot about, the game. And I was talking to you in chat, and eventually you just sent me a link, and you were like, dude, just hop on and tell us about it. And I just hopped on and told you about it. And we ended up doing Talk Hard after that. Even talked about like the name of what the name of the show would be, and the fact that we both like to pump up the volume. And it's great to collaborate like that, especially with good people like you and Troy. Those are really cool things to get to do. But eventually you get the idea that, okay, I have a limited amount of time, especially if you are working away from all of this. If you have, and I have nothing but respect for the people that have the 9 to 5. They do the 9 to 5. They bust their butt with a regular job, week in, week out, and then they do this as well. There's a lot of people, they don't have time to do 5 videos every single day. They don't have time to do a dozen shorts. They don't have that time. It's great when you do, but if you don't, you do what you can do, and you have to kind of cut through the BS and go, okay, what are my priorities? At one point I talked to you about, hey, I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna do less. I'm probably not gonna keep doing the show on Tuesdays, but I thought about it and I was like, look, I want to keep doing the things I really love to do, and doing Talk Hard with you and Ironcaster and Squeak a Mouse. that's a great time. And I'm going to make time for that. I'm do everything I can to make time to keep that hour and a half in my Tuesdays and do that. That's just, it's priorities. You have to have priorities, especially when you're, you know, you have bills, you have job, you have an internship, which is BS that I've been dealing with. You have to have priorities.
Here's a reminder. Do a show with Pops on Pop.
Sorry about that, guys.
The reminder.
Alexa, shut up.
I appreciated the audio intro. That was very cool. That was actually awesome way to.
Hey, you do what you got to do to remember, man. I've got an alarm on my phone that says, "Hey,
well,
you need to be here and do this."
It's a professional thing, right? Because there is nothing that bothers me more than when you have a guest lined up and they just don't show up.
Oh, dude.
I mean, and it's happened to me. Well, it's happened to Netter more because she's got the Thursday interview show. But it's like, okay, then they're not serious about this, and I won't be having them back.
Especially if they don't contact you, because I did it to this guy once. Something happened, and I don't remember exactly how it went down, but I totally missed it. It was like an hour or so later, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I hadn't listened to the show live even, so I didn't even catch his referencing. Like, "Hey, there's supposed to be somebody here with me." I wasn't even listening live, and it was like, "Wow!" I felt like a complete jackwagon. But
I did it to somebody once, and it was a unique circumstance. I was preparing to be on somebody's show. But, you know, you're in all of these groups in social media for other, you know, to share streams and so on and so forth. And I was in the wrong group and they had sent out a blank one to everyone. And I clicked on that one. I ended up in someone else's show. And they're like, "Oh, we're so glad to have, you know," and I'm like, wait a minute. This wasn't the one I was supposed to be on. Oops. And I'm on now. There's nothing I can do now. So
well, let me grab back what Loki was saying though, Troy, and transfer that over to your thoughts on the trade-offs that come along with all this, right? Because you started very part-time, trying to balance that, 8 to 5 type job and the obligations that go with that, and then like, all right, I'm going to do this Friday show, and I'm going to be on with so and so, and I'm going to do this. Of course, your wife Netter is doing her own thing as well, so you both are learning and growing and doing all that, and through the unforeseen circumstances of life, you're kind of like, I kind of always thought I could do this full time, but I guess now the chips are kind of like pushed in my way where I'm going to have to do that. Talk about those trade-offs and how that has ebbed and flowed for you over this time.
Right. So, it starts with both Netter and I during the whole Koof thing, where we both lost. We've learned something. Probably not a good idea for a married couple to be working at the same company at the same time in the same department, because when the layoffs come, we both get hit, right? So we got laid off, and started it not as a business, just to keep contact with people and trying to get back to work as soon as possible. We both did get back to work, working from home, which very much facilitated being able to do this. So again, like you said, working full time and doing YouTube. And then I said, I'm really enjoying this. Don't know if it's a viable option, as a career or, to make money. But if something happens, because I was working as an independent contractor, said, if anything happens to this contract, I think I'm going to try to do it full time. And then eventually it did after like a year and a half. And I'm like, I said it. Now I guess I got to do it. I got to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. Netter continued to work full time and do the YouTube thing. And she's like, okay, as long as I'm still working and I got the insurance and all that kind of stuff, go for it. And so that has freed me up to be able to do this. It would not be viable if it weren't for her, because the money's just not there. But I am loving it, and it does have a great deal of potential, but it's a challenge. It really is.
Let me ask you, Loki, because you've been very brutally honest with folks about this. Your YouTube talks have become kind of legendary in our circles. So let's talk a little bit about the delusion of the money that people make, because they're only going to hear from the people that are wildly successful. I actually had a video once sent from someone very close to me. about how easy it was to monetize Instagram because you can take your clips from this and throw them on there. And, you know, when you get 1 million views, you get this and whatever. And I just like immediately were like, you guys have no idea how hard it is to get 1 million views. You have
Yep.
no idea how hard or what type of content you even have to do to have the scalable numbers that these people are talking about. So give everybody a little bit of the synopsis of the tough love of how the finances even work through YouTube, let alone the other social media outlets.
So you've got to wait. And there are people that don't want to wait. You've got to wait to get paid. Obviously, let's say you get through the journey, you get monetized, everything's in the green, and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna get that first monetization check. I had people come in and they donated and they congratulated me. You're waiting 2 months for that first money to roll in, and you have to make over $100.
Yep.
Now, for some people, that might be difficult. For other people, that might be easy. But you cannot go, okay, well, I made $700 on my first check. I'm gonna double that next month. You have no idea what you're gonna make next month. You have no idea what people are gonna come into your chat and go, you know what? I love your show. Here's a $5. Here's 5 gifted memberships. Here's this. You have no idea what's gonna happen. You cannot reliably count on people donating to your live stream and giving you money. And I've seen some crazy stuff. I saw a guy quit his job. He's like, I'm monetized. I'm quitting my job. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm never going back to work for a company again. And within 4 months, he was demonetized and going, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't do that. And people will. They'll go, well, I've got money put away, so I might as well just like go full time, throw everything I have into it. And those are the guys bashing, or girls bashing their head against the keyboard, going, why am I not making enough money on YouTube? Okay, well, now I need to go over here, and I need to bring my clips over here, and I need to bring my clips over there, and I need to spread this out, and I need to try and make money on Rumble, on YouTube, on TikTok, on blah blah blah. And suddenly you've gone from this I'm having fun doing what I'm doing to I'm spending all day chasing making $1. Instead of having fun, enjoying yourself, putting the work into the content, you're now putting in the work to make $1. And if that's all you care about, all that's going to come out on, it's going to come out on your live streams. It's going to come out on your content. It's going to come out in everything you do. It's going to be money, money, money. And when you hear people go, and I know Troy has heard this, when you hear someone go, hey guys, listen, don't send me a super chat, all right? Why don't you go over to the PayPal and just send it to me on the PayPal? That way I get paid right away. I can get the money right then, right there, and I don't have to wait like 2 months to get paid by YouTube. Those people don't last because they're telling people literally, don't super chat me. Yeah. Send me this because I want it now. I need the money now. So send it to me now. You have to have a foundation, a financial foundation before you throw yourself into this. You have to be able to stand on your own without the money first.
Yeah.
Foremost. That's where you start. It was when the foundation's all already there. Don't think you can just go, okay, I'm going to throw everything out the window but this, and I'm just going to do this full time. Because it very rarely works. You get frustrated, you get upset, you get jealous, you get nasty with people. Why? Because you want something they have. You want access, and you start hearing people go, oh, well, they're mine. I know Troy's probably heard this too. Oh, who's that? Oh, welcome to the chat, blah, blah, blah. And someone on your stream might go, they're mine. What do you mean they're yours? You freaking own them? You own them? Is there a label that says this person belongs to Stone Cold Loki? No, they're just a viewer, and you can't just say, well, they're mine. They're mine. Don't touch them. Whatever they sent you, they should be sending to me instead. That's all nastiness that you don't want to deal with. And once you see that, you're like, maybe I don't want to go on their stream next time. Maybe I don't want to go on their panel. Maybe I don't want to, because you don't want to be around that. You have to have that foundation built already before you get into, I want to make money on YouTube. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
that drama, the pay delays, the just the whole reality of all that, Troy, is just part of the business, and you were seeing that a little bit, and getting monetized and growing your channel, and you and Ned are both had kind of walked through that a little bit before this become like, oh, I got to do this as a full-time gig. I want to do this as a full-time gig. I know that for me, observing your work, you focus a lot more on memberships and focus on live streams. What are some of the other elements there that you could talk to people about, and kind of how that has played out for you?
Well, I want to first comment on something that Loki was just getting at, or at least he was alluding to it. I think he would have gotten to it, and that's this whole idea that we're on a platform. People that say, I'm not gonna work for anyone ever again. Well, guess what? You're working for YouTube. You are. It is their platform, and you don't even have the security of employment law when it comes to it. You are an independent contractor, and they can say, okay, we don't want to work with you anymore. Goodbye. Well, that's not fair. Yes, it is, because they don't owe you anything. They are not bound by the same rules of fairness that you are used to in the business world. Yes, it's true. They are unfair in their and uneven in their enforcement of their own terms of service. And they'll give you a reason that's a non-reason for demonetizing you. They'll say, well, you were in violation of our community guidelines. Which ones? Well, here's the community guidelines. Now, that doesn't answer the question, because they're not going to answer the question. And you can speculate about why they did it, or who they're trying to favor instead of you. But there's nothing that you could do about that. And I'll get plenty of this from a lot of other people on other. Well, you should be on X. You should be doing all of your streaming on X, because I make this much money in what is it called, Spaces or something like that. And I'm like, I can't figure out how their Spaces work. You got to have a gajillion views on a regular basis over there. It's impossible to generate that kind of viewership unless you're literally tweeting. Do they still call them tweets? On a daily basis, your one-line quips to get people engaged. I'm sorry, every platform has its strengths and its weaknesses, and as bad as YouTube is, it's still the biggest game in town. And for all the complaining people do about the algorithm and not understanding the algorithm and how unfair it is, at least there is an algorithm. At least there is the potential for your stream to be recommended to your subscribers and people that are in the same sphere of interests as you. There's nothing like that, and there never will be anything like that over on Rumble. It just exists in a vacuum. If you don't already have your followers, they're not going to be following you, and they're not going to find out about you on the so-called green machine. There's also a lot of behind the scenes related to the industry, the streaming industry as a whole, and how marginalized Rumble is. So if people think that it's ever going to be able to take on YouTube and Google, good luck with that. And let me sell you this narwhal tusk and tell you it's a unicorn. But
confused.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, those are the realities that you have to be prepared for. It's like I told the stepkids, and I've told a lot of people throughout the years. Some people listen, some people don't. There's the way things should be, and then there's the way things are. There's the way you want them to be and expect them to be in an idealized world, and then there's reality. And if you deal with reality, you'll always be happier. You think you'll be happier with the fantasy, but when it never comes true, you're better off making the best you can with reality. And this is reality,
Yeah, Loki and I, we used to talk about my past a lot more transparently than I ever have publicly. So I had a long run with Google AdSense and kind of having advertising relationships through the Google network that way through websites and even through radio stuff where, you know, they would do promotional stuff for different websites that they would own or help promote and that kind of thing. So I remember, you know, getting viral views back in the day, and, you know, my business partner would be like, "Oh, great. How much was that?" And, you know, they're looking at the numbers and I'm like, "Yeah, $3.42. And you're like, "What?"
Exactly.
I'm like, yeah. AdSense is not where you make your money, man. It's real tricky to even understand how any of the formulas work. The part I don't think either of you touched on is the fact that they take such a monster cut of the money as well, which is a huge number, which is
yes, it is
probably one of the shocking things, folks. You know, let's take, you know, the $700 that Loki mentioned earlier. People are like, whoa, $700. Yeah, let's assume that that was the gross amount because they take 30%. You're going to lose at least 30%. So now you got your $700, but they take, you know, you got a $490 check, and you're like, what? You know, so
for taxes.
Well, I didn't get, I was getting to the $1.99 membership. The base memberships are about $1.99 for most of us, right? So you got take that 30% off and then add all that up at the end of the year and figure out what you're going to do with taxes. Hopefully, and again, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts that before you get too wild and weary about how much money you're making, it might be fun and games when you might get your first $100 or something like that. But if you start to actually feel like I want to do this more, you both agree, like get an LLC, talk to somebody about an S corp or something, figure out a way to capitalize on the IRS tax structure to make sure that you're separating this away from your personal life enough that at least the financial stuff can be more beneficial to you, right?
Absolutely. That's one of the first things I did as soon as I got monetized was I made a business, and I didn't do an LLC. I did a corp, and I did a corp for tax reasons for the state that I was in. So I wasn't in Texas at the time. I was in Missouri, but I had so many years where I didn't have to pay taxes. So you've got so many years as a corporation where if I don't make over, $100,000 a year, I don't have to pay the taxes because I'm a small business. Okay, so I get to keep that money. I have to pay myself. So it's not like I can just go, okay, well, that money is immediately mine. No, I have to pay myself out of what the business is making. So if I want any of that money for myself, I actually have to cut a check to myself and pay myself, or move that money over, basically digital check, move that money over to a personal account, and then I can spend that money, unless I'm spending it on something business related like StreamYards or computer repair or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're basically paying yourself. You are a business of one. You are a corporation of one person. You are the only employee on the books. You're still an employee. And I have found YouTube treats corporations differently than they do personal people. So when you go in and I'm getting monetized, right? I'm just going to rush into this. I'm putting my social security number in. I'm going to get everything ready, or whatever number you have for whatever country you're in. And I'm going to register and I'm going to go for it. They're going to treat you as an individual, as a person. They do treat corporations differently. I don't know if anybody's noticed that or not, but YouTube treats corporations and business entities differently than they do a single human being that is earning money on YouTube. It's the smartest thing to do, and it is not something you need to rush into. I understand you're excited. I understand you're like, this is going to change my life. I'm never going to have, like Troy said, I'm never going to have to go to work again. I'm going to be my own boss. I'm never going to go work for anybody else ever again. I get it. But don't rush into that and throw whatever work you put into this away by just going, I want everything and I want it now. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to end up with nothing. You're going to end up banned, stricken from the roles, unmonetized from the partnership program. Yep. You have to play by all of their rules. And I find personally that they're a little bit more lenient when it's a corporation that they're dealing with and not a single individual.
You talk about their rules a lot, and you and I have been just rolling our eyes and shaking our heads. And you obviously would go on your YouTube talks and start lecturing people about the 300 copyright claims they've got on their channel and everything like that, just leaving the rule structure stacked against them. And then Troy, now that you're doing this full time and you have so many shows that you're juggling and so much content, you're trying different things. how have you been able to manage the I call it the infrastructure of streaming. So copyrights, song claims, clip claims. You can't share audio, or but you can't get the overlays to line up with what you're sharing. I mean, just how do you deal with the infrastructure? Talk a little bit about all that.
Yeah, so the first thing I did was I focused more. If I was going to use incidental music or bumper music or whatever, I would just pull from the YouTube library. That's usually the safest way to go. But it can be very plasticky, very generic-y. I did turn to third party licensing. But that is incredibly clunky, and you have the enough of waiting 2 months for a payout from YouTube to begin with, and then you have whole streams that are in escrow while you're fighting to get a copyright claim removed from something you paid a damn license for.
Yep.
And I said, you know what, I'm not even going to do that anymore. I'm not. It's not worth it. Sorry, I understand that it's YouTube, it's not you, third party, but I can't work with you. I'm sorry, because YouTube doesn't want to work with you. So this is where I might lose members and I might lose subscribers, but and because I know people have strong feelings about this, turn to AI. Just turn to AI, because you can't copyright AI music. And I've gotten very, very lucky with AI as far as the music goes. I mean, it's good. It's on brand. Some is better than others, I'll admit. And as I see other YouTubers doing it, I'm like, I want to help you out, guys, because that's really bad AI music. But there's some really good AI music too. Graphics, again, Midjourney or whomever, it can't be copyrighted. So there's nothing that they can really say about that. I don't use if I use a video clip, it's like a little meme thing of like 2-3 seconds, for a haha. I've never had any real problems with that. I'm sure I potentially could. But I don't use like large clips. If I'm going to talk about a film, I'll do a still and talk about a scene. Yeah, how do I deal with it? I avoid it. I just avoid it. There is one piece of music that I use from a YouTube affiliate. He puts up music that he does, and his video says, copyright free, blah, 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 blah. When you read into it, you got to acknowledge him. And I go as far as to tag him and put up a link to it, because, together we grow, right? I mean, if I'm going to benefit from your work, I want other people to go check out your work. But the stupid algorithm every couple of days will hit me for that song. And I've got this copy and paste text that I send them and go, read the attribution, then go to the channel and read what the channel says. They are not claiming copyright on this. And it gets overturned in 24 hours. It's a pain in the butt, but it's a good enough piece of music that I'm willing to put up with that. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was a really long explanation to get at the answer.
Well, Loki's is even more complicated, because he paid for music and then was being claimed by wasn't even like a third party. We're talking like fifth party. They're not even affiliated with the music. I mean,
copyright pirate.
Oh man, it was crazy stuff that went on. I mean, for a long time, right, my friend?
Oh yeah, so years. And you say, 24 hours, they got it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
30 days, every claim, 30 days.
Wow.
So I'm waiting 30 days every single time they claimed it, every single time I fought it, every single time I put the license information in. They let it sit there for 30 days until it was done.
Yep.
YouTube does this. Like what Troy said, it's not like I've dealt with Shutterstock. I actually had to hire a copyright lawyer to get answers. And the answers I got was Shutterstock was not claiming the music that they have copyright for, because I have a license through them, and I have a license for the piece of music from the creator of the music. So I originally went to him and I said, how much would you charge me if I want to use this piece of music you've got for every intro for the show that I do? And he gave me a price. I paid him. I got the license for it. Okay, I can use this on every show. And for years that was fine. Then Shutterstock got a hold of it, and I started getting claimed. Then I started getting claimed from another party for the same piece of music. This was what you were talking about, Pops. But dealing with Shutterstock, I kept dealing with them, Finally, I said, okay, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna get a license from them. I paid $50. Okay, I'm gonna pay $50 for a license. I can use the music 10,000 times. It's more than I'll ever need to, and I don't have to worry about copyright. Just put the little number in the description of your video, and it will immediately let us know that this music is yours, that you're licensed, and everything is okay. And for a little while, that worked until basically YouTube took over those duties and started doing it themselves. So YouTube is making the claim for Shutterstock instead of Shutterstock going, okay, this guy, he never bought this song, so we're going to claim his stuff.
Right.
YouTube has decided, okay, we're just going to do it for you. Our AI is going to flag the music and go, hey, that's owned by them, and immediately send me a copyright for them in perpetuity every single time I use the music. They're not legally allowed to do that, but that's exactly what they are doing, so that it cuts through the red tape and they don't have to wait on anybody else to do it for them. Why do they do this? Money.
Yep.
Plain simple. It's all about money to them. They want the ad revenue. So they want to basically go, okay, well, we don't have to pay you ad revenue. However many clicks, however many of this, however many of that, we don't have to pay you because this is copyrighted material. Now your entire stream, however long it was, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, is held hostage for this 3-minute piece of music that you used at the beginning, which is absolute horse crap. It took a lawyer to figure that out. It took a lawyer contacting Shutterstock saying, hey, we are going to send you guys a cease and desist. My client has paid you. He's got another license from the creator of the music. We are going to send you a cease and desist if this does not stop. And they said, we don't control any of that. YouTube does. Oh, okay. Thank you, YouTube. And no matter how many times you tell YouTube, they're still going to claim you. Because I have sent some like, hey, get your crap together, guys. You know that I have a license for this. I've continually put this in over and over and over again. You need to get your crap together and you need to stop this. We'll look into it, sir. And then the next time you use it, the time after that, it still happens.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you go to YouTube and say, hey, you need to get your crap together, they don't have to. They're just going to keep doing things the way they want to do things because you are nothing to them. Even if you have 1 million subscribers, even if you make a lot of money, they don't have to cater to you because there's someone right around the corner that can make just as much money and have just as many subscribers as you do. So in the grand scheme of things, it's no longer broadcast yourself. It's broadcast for us. And if you do anything we don't like or do anything against our terms of service, bye.
Yeah, and if they wear you down and you just give up or you abandon your content, then it's just sitting there free for them forever, and they can just make nickels off of it, if nothing else. And some of our content is, it will eventually become evergreen anyway, where you do enough over time, you have a few videos of nothing else, they're always getting random views per month. So with all this, folks, despite all the stuff that we've done, we've thrown at you already with all that.
Right.
Is it worth it? Was it all worth it? Is it worth doing? And for me, the biggest thing is I had to identify how much I loved talking nerd stuff. Like of all the stuff I'd done for years and years and years, it used to be, and I remember the big falling out I had when I first started this sort of secondary website I'd been writing for a pop culture website, and they were so offended that I would write pop culture stuff again. And it was because I'd done it exclusively for them. And I was just doing hard news and stuff like that. But my business partners were like, dude, you can go to these movies, you can talk about, and they were like just trying to get hits, because that's what was getting a lot of hits at the time, right? You know, I could cover the Sherlock show and have thousands of views every single episode. Like it was just, it was like a cash cow for the business itself, even though that wasn't the purpose of the site, but it would bring in eyeballs. And that was the goal, to keep building growth and trying to get more people involved. And it was a thing that ran its course. And I got really into being a critic, running, getting advanced screenings and doing all that kind of the fringe benefits of all that. There's a lot of them if you really want to get into it. And at the end of the day, that's kind of why I decided to just do pops exclusively, kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then over the years, getting to know gentlemen like this, they've been such encouragers, like, do what you do. Like Loki said at the beginning, you got to do what you do to make you happy, to make it worth doing all this work and all this stuff we talk about, right? Because no matter how happy or sad we see, we're going to work through our copyright claims. We're going to work through our scheduling issues. We're going to work through the balance. And my channel is no exception. What Your Story is back after about a year, because it was a lot trying to juggle schedules and doing that many episodes. And like you said, you have someone scheduled, but they don't show up, and this has gotten canceled, or this isn't work out. And, and people get their feelings hurt, right? Because they'll go in and they'll look at episode 1 from that year that has 1,200 or 1,500 views, and they did their episode has 30 the first couple days, and then maybe 100 after a couple months. They get their feelings hurt because, well, why did so-and-so get so many views? I'm like, well, first off, they've had 10 months to find 1,000 views. They've had people who come back and finish an interview, and it's been shared a few times, or whatever the case would be. But with all that said, Troy, is it worth it?
Absolutely, it is. I love doing it. I mean, it's where we started with this, right? I love getting together. I'm not physically getting together with people, but virtually getting together with people, chatting, sharing this passion, and we are getting a message out there. For a lot of us, when this first started, it was during all the Comicsgate stuff and all of the, culture wars stuff. And I honestly feel like I am seeing now in the mainstream media a reaction. We are starting to have an influence on the culture. I see, an article. The BBC just sent out a memo saying they got to pull back from the diversity stuff because it's actually having a negative impact. And we're all sitting here going, you think? It's actually working against our message when we recast the Queen of England, historically, as a black woman. You're kidding. Yeah. People are reacting negatively to that, but it is the so-called normies aren't seeing it, but we are, and we're sharing it, and we're hitting a lot of those normies. And I've got, my buddies that I play D&D with that are saying, hey, did you hear it? I'm like, hey, did you not watch my show on Sunday? Yeah, we were talking about it, and it really is. It's starting to have an impact. And for all of the mainstream media that derides, those evil istophobes on social media. Well, it's interesting when Gary over at Nerdrotic is getting more views than Star Trek is, and that's saying something, Yeah. And I mean, even when I saw like the first day's view, and I'm like, I've had streams that have done better than Star Trek did, and I'm certainly not able to. I just got through saying that if it weren't for my wife supporting us, I would not be able to do this. But I'm getting more views. Yeah. That is impacting the culture, and for all of the derision that they were shouting at us, the general population is starting to push back against that and go, no, that's pretty much everyone's opinion. That's just pretty much the normal opinion. And so I think we're having an impact is what I'm basically getting at. it. And this is just a little bit of a little bit of a boost to the message. All of our voices in unison.
Loki, we talk about it regularly about what the value of doing this means to us. How do you want to articulate or sum that up for folks of why you keep doing it?
Oh, you get really cool stuff. Like, beyond that, this is a giant clubhouse. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure Troy knows this. I know you know it, Pops. It's a big clubhouse. All right. And there are the people that enjoy being in the clubhouse. Troy said that, he hasn't really hung out with people like sitting next to him. I have a lot. I've been to a lot of conventions. I've been to a lot of meetups. I've had people in my house, people I've never like physically met before that I've only met online. I've had them in my house. I brought them into my home. Some of those are really good people. Some of those, not so much. They will be invited back. But the majority of them, really good people. You try and give everybody the opportunity to just be cool. It's like Fonzie. Like they, just be cool, baby. Be cool. Yolanda, be cool, baby. Right? Well, you try and be cool with everybody. And there's some people you just can't be cool with. But that doesn't mean you act like an ass or act out of hand. You just tell them. And if they don't get that, if you have to take somebody aside and go, look, man, I don't know what kind of problem we have here. I don't know what's going on, but let's, nix it, cut it out, whatever, and move on.
Yeah.
If they're cool with that, great. If they're not, they are not worth your time because it's just going to cause drama. It's just going to cause BS, and you don't want to deal with that. Why? Because we're all here to have a good time. We're talking about the things we love. We're here to talk about Godzilla and Transformers and Space Battleship Yamato and Stargate and all kinds of crazy stuff. All the stuff we love, all the stuff we want to share, Farscape, Stargate, Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever it is. We want to have a good time and we want to talk about that. Why is that? Because that's the stuff we grew up with. That's the stuff we've enjoyed. That's the stuff that we've spent hours and hours watching. It might have pulled us out of a depression. It might have inspired us to do more with our lives, whatever it is. We want to discuss that. We want to share that. The media, like Troy said, the media wants you to think this is all bad. These people are in back rooms talking about, all these evil things. What are we talking about that's evil? We're talking about stuff that we love. We're talking about how James T. Kirk used to be such a badass. We're talking about how Spock would be like, fascinating, Captain. What is wrong with any of that? There's nothing wrong with any of that besides what they want to make wrong with it. So it's not our problem. We're not the ones with the issue. They're the ones with the issue. Because going back and saying, well, hold on, everybody. We can't call the ship Slave 1 anymore. We have to call it Bubba Fett ship. We can't even call it a fire spray because that might offend someone. That's their problem.
Yeah.
No one is telling you you can't call it Slave 1. No one is telling you you can't call it a fire spray. That's them putting shackles on themselves, going, we can't do it because it's so evil. It's a show about a bounty hunter, about a dude that goes out and does mean evil things, right? That's what it's about. That's what it's supposed to be about. They want to make it dances with sand people and be like, Banva! Like a banva.
You keep bringing it up. Please let it die. I don't want to keep hearing about it. I know it's rough. It's rough.
But we're not the ones with the problem.
Yeah.
They're the ones with the problem. They want to say, oh, well, you're just an instant over to Yahtzee, Troy. You're just an instant over to Yahtzee, Loki. You're just an instant over to Yahtzee, Pops. No, we're not the ones with the problem. We just like our stuff. I like Transformers. I don't need to say Optimus Prime's Transformer, whatever identity is it/them. He's a he. He is a dude. I understand that might like warp people's brain, but Optimus Prime is a dude. He's a male Autobot. There are male Autobots and there are female Autobots, right? So he's a male Autobot. That's what he is. Get over it. You don't have to call them they, them. You don't need to tell people. You don't need to have a whole show going, well, you're using the incorrect pronouns, Optimus, because guess what? You're the one with the problem. It's not us. The one saying all that crap is the one with the issue. And they want you to have an issue. Well, we're tired of having issues. We're tired of having to deal with any of this. We just want good stuff. And we want stuff that makes us feel good. That stream I did when we did the last episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian, me and Dave Bob and Lorena Creel are watching the episode together for the first time before the stream. And Dave Bob's excitement when they said it's an X-Wing. And he goes, it's Luke! It's Luke! And I was like, no, they wouldn't. No, not Disney. No. And then what do you know? Green lightsaber. And I was like, it's Luke. That was something
Yeah.
we all shared. We all shared as fans. And it blew up. It blew up the internet. And do you know what Disney did? Disney went, we're never going to do anything like that again. Why? Because the fans enjoy it.
Yep.
We need to get through all this. We need to cut it all out. And we need to get rid of the people that say, if you enjoy something, you are bad. If you love something, you are a bad fan. No, we just love what we love. We love Luke. We think Luke shouldn't be a creepy uncle that walks into his nephew's hut and is like a weirdo. We don't want that. We want the hero. Oh, well, it's not his story anymore. But he's still a part of it. Don't trash our icons and expect us to be overjoyed and go, it's going to be great one day. You'll see. That's not the way it works. And it's not the way it works on YouTube either. Just enjoy what you do. Enjoy the things you do. Enjoy the things you create. Enjoy the people you meet. Troy will probably kick me for this, but when I go into his chat and he goes, oh, we got YouTube royalty, I'm like, son of a bitch. That's why I'm like, I stay quiet. I stay quiet.
Sorry,
it's nothing to get.
sorry.
No.
I get excited.
I know, and I do too. I when I see somebody and I'm like, holy shit, what's up, dude? Who's not normally there. I'm like, holy shit, and it's okay. I get it, but I'm just like you, bro. I definitely don't look at myself like that, and I've been told that's the problem. I know Mexican Iron Man over and over and over again. You're OG. You're old guard. You're da-da-da-da-da. I don't care about any of that. I just want to have a good time and hang out with my bros, whether that's in real life, whether that's on the internet, and the girls. I hang out with the girls. There's nothing wrong with hanging out with chicks online either. But whoever you're hanging out with, make sure you're having a good time. Make sure you're enjoying yourself, because that's the whole point. If you're constantly frustrated, if you're constantly kicking yourself, if you're constantly bashing yourself on the keyboard, you're no better than those people that don't understand why we love something and why we enjoy it and why we won't accept it when they screw it up. It's the same problem.
Go ahead, Troy.
You know, going back to you brought it full circle there, Loki, and this was a realization that I had very, very recently. It does come down to this social aspect, right? You've talked about having people in your home, people that you've met, you know. I mean, hopefully in the very near future, I'm going to get to meet Pops face to face, because I'm going to be in his neck of the woods next month. But we've never physically been in the same room before, yet I consider him a very dear friend. But this is that social aspect that we get, normal people get, but I'm starting to realize that the people that are writing in the entertainment industry don't. The bad writing that everyone is talking about, everything that we keep calling woke, yes, that's part of it. These agendas and the pronouns and the race swapping and stuff is part of it. But more importantly, they don't understand how to human. They don't understand how to interact with people, how humans interact and have interpersonal relationships. That's why they're not making it into the stories, you know? And I realized that as I was doing over on Wade's channel, last Sunday we watched Tron Ares. And I'm like, this isn't there was a lot of things in it that could have been a good story. And I'm like, there's elements here of it. What is missing? And I realized none of the characters we cared about were there. They were a picture in a file, or there's this brief, interaction with I don't know, Obi-Wan, Flynn,
program. It's
yeah.
not even him. It's like an echo of
yeah,
Flynn.
it's like a Clue echo or whatever. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter, because this and why did I not care about? I hate saying the Asian girl, but I can't remember her name. I don't remember anything about her other than she had a sister and that she took over somebody else's company. That's all I know about her, and that's because that's all they put into her. She was not a fleshed out character. She was a caricature. This is not the kind of representation that people want. They want, sure. I mean, I like to see Italians in movies, right? Even old bald Italians, right? But I want them to be real characters, not a stereotype of an Italian guy, right? I want them to be someone I can care about. And that is what hooks you. This is why you care about Luke Skywalker and get excited when you see the green lightsaber, because you followed his journey. And then when this idea that you could just swap out his gender or his color because it's fiction anyway, right? And we can make him gay if we want to, or we could do this, or we could do that. Could I do that to you? If I just took you and changed your race or your gender or your preference, would that be okay with you? No, because it's your identity. Just because it's a fictional character doesn't give you the right to do that, because that's why we care about them, because they are a character that it's that interpersonalness. And when you take that away, that's not that character anymore. That's what whole franchises have become. Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of it. You stripped out what we cared about. So now you got nothing. Now you've got tokenism. Congratulations. You've taken us back to the 30s and 40s of representation.
So as we steer towards wrapping this up, I wanted to say that what makes it worth it is tapping into that emotional response you saw from both of them, where they get passionate about the things that they love and dislike about this element that has been so important to them in the middle of culture war and changes and corporatization and manipulation by people who are very inexperienced, standing on the shoulders of giants before them, trying to pretend that they're the creative ones. In reality is YouTube has been just the latest version of content creation that has always existed. We're all old enough to remember a disc jockey like Wolfman Jack, who made spinning records a way to communicate with the public in a different way in his time. Bob Ross is a way to just paint pictures and communicate a passion and connect with people about the love of animals and being kind and whatever. Mr. Rogers is doing this incredible puppet show every single week, communicating with children and adult alike, dealing with real serious issues. These are original OG content creators that I know inspired me. And now we get to be on the other side of that, where yeah, it could have been because of the COVID era, but it also is just the nature of a digital world where we can now find like-minded and kindred spirits, no matter what your passion is. Maybe you're, one of the ones that has a passion that is down an avenue that doing this can be more lucrative for you. Like if you're into finance and you're into stock trading and you're into fashion and beauty and some of those things, they're way more lucrative niches than what we talk about. And that's totally cool. Also, if you're more on board and enjoying these changes that people are making in these corporations, whatever, fine. Then let your voice stand let it find its voice. Let us find its audience, right? And you can have different successes and whatever, but you need to know that everything we've talked about are honest hurdles and struggles and honest reality checks that come along the way. Now, what we kind of touch on, and I want to just kind of end with that, is the one thing I think all this you need to know is, what do you want out of it is a lot more of just who you are, being the authentic and genuine self. I would say that will be to me, the currency as YouTube moves forward and all these other platforms. It's all just one big conglomerate mess at this point. I mean, you guys can criticize me, but I'll take a long form interview and I'll cut it up into clips and I'll cut it up again and make it short. Poor Troy's probably driving crazy of all the little tags I hit him with, whatever stuff that we talked about 2 and 3 years ago, but they're still fun to go back to and share with people, especially around, my Star Wars day, or we talk about Terminator or Ghostbusters or whatever constantly, because I just enjoy that, because that's what's making me happy, which is what Loki was talking about earlier. And we have had the opportunity to meet face to face, and we'll meet again face to face, and hoping to meet Troy face to face. I would encourage you guys to seek that out, the authenticity, the genuineness that's in your heart of hearts, to find a way to express yourself regularly, as these gentlemen do on a regular basis. With that, Troy, last words, last thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you so much for really everything you've done for me since this whole journey started, a lot of which you may not even realize yourself, just inspiring me and encouraging me. When we wrap up here, I want to talk to you, because I'm hoping we can get together when I come down in March for MegaCon. But when we throw the term brother around a lot, but you definitely are like a brother to me.
Well, I feel the same way, brother. It'd be awesome to see you then. So, looking at the final thoughts.
Be genuine. Be yourself. It's a lot easier to just be yourself. Even if you think, well, I'm kind of a dick, then just be kind of a dick. Pardon my language, but that's just if you're kind of a dick, just be a dick. I'm not exactly always a nice person. I can pretty much get down and dirty with the best of them. I will tell you exactly what I'm thinking. Even if that thinking is against your thinking, I'll just come out and say it. That is better than being fake, because the fake, you have to wear that. You have to wear it every time you go online. You have to wear it with every interaction you take. You have to wear it with every meetup, every person you talk to. Anyone that knows who you are online, you have to constantly keep that up. That is not something you want to do. I've seen it eat away at people. I've seen people drink, smoke, act like complete idiots, because they have to constantly wear that with whatever they're doing. If they meet someone out, I met someone out in the wild the other day that knew what convention shirt I was wearing, and was like, my aunt has that shirt. I said, who's your aunt? And he goes, oh, and he gave me a name, and I know exactly who he was talking about. I was like, wow, cool. And he goes, did you go too? And I said, well, it's my meetup. It's ValhallaCon. I'm Loki, so it's kind of like my meetup. And he goes, oh, I'll ask her about you. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I can just be me. Wherever I go, whatever I'm doing, I can be me, and I don't have to worry about like people seeing me in a different way, because I am who I am. I'm the same person online. I don't have to hide it. I don't have to be fake. I don't have to pretend. That is much easier in the long run, even if you're, a little bit of a dick, than being fake and trying to get people to believe you're someone you're not. Just be you. It's better for you. It's better for what you're doing. It's better for the people you're doing it with, to just be yourself.
I'll close with a story, because Loki was behind an avatar when I first met him. In a long, long time, he was not going to show his face. And I remember there was he went to a meetup and he shared like a photo, and it was so funny because he knows I have the tech that I would freeze copy that, so I would know actually what he would look like. That kind of thing happens. Fast forward when I meet Loki face to face. He's been on camera now not much. I think it hadn't been very long. We were out in the wild and we're shopping, and literally some girl, just random teenagers, run up to him because he's wearing full Slytherin guard, full head to tail Slytherin guard hoodie. I think it's on his sweatpants or something, or just the full thing. And they have to do like a treasure hunt at Universal or whatever. He's there. So they're they're trying to find a Slytherin person. Can I take a picture with you? And they, yeah, of course. They take this picture and they just run off. They could care less about anything else. And I looked at him and I says, they have no idea. They just got a behind the scenes photos of you, and how many people online want to see what you look like. And it was fantastic. We just bonded over that. Like, yeah, the world's, it's so complicated and just, yeah, it's so fun. And I tell you what, folks, it's been a blast to kick off the What's Your Story 2026 with these two guys. Loki's going to come back and be co-hosting these with me, hopefully every time, but we'll try and make our schedules work, because it's fun to have another mind to kind of ping questions off of and thoughts off of and that kind of thing. So we're hopefully going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be doing it every week or anything like that. So all of you that have been hankering for this, keep your expectations in check, but know that when we do this, it wants to be a fun, passionate, interesting conversation that I want to have, and hopefully you want to have. And I hope you've enjoyed it. These guys have been great. Can't thank you enough for your time. Make sure you check out the description to connect with these guys, check out their shows, support them any way you feel compelled to. And just know I appreciate you. Be blessed. Talk hard. Until next time, I am Pops.